because you just said something I think is so important, and I want you to really challenge us. Pat Lencioni talks a lot about this, that, don't come at people with a bunch of values that you slap on the wall, and everybody knows that you don't actually live those values. So culture and changing culture and growing culture and keeping it vibrant and all that has nothing to do with overt acts and posters in the lunchroom.
Absolutely. No, it's about how we behave. If your mission is what you're trying to get done, your culture is how you're going to get it done. It's the how we function as a family, how we function together when nobody's looking. What kind of crazy are we? And that's going to get more important as years go on. We've got a huge demographic shift happening in the workforce all over the world, in every sector. You've got baby boomers retiring. You've got nobody our age, just by birth rate. And you've got a ton of millennials behind that.
They're the number one demographic. I want to point this out. They're the number one demographic now in the American workforce.
Absolutely.
Millennials. So
absolutely.
You're exactly right.
And Barna did a study some years back and asked a question of different decade-born people, different generations, right? What are the 5 things you want to get accomplished by the time you're 35? And it was a pretty cool study, and 5 things sort of popped up in nearly every decade, and it was something like, I want to get married, I want to have a family, I want to own a home, I want to be on a career track, and I want to have some financial stability. You ask the millennials that same question, the only one that shows up out of those 5 is financial stability. And it's probably because you guys have been around a while now. But the own a home, no, it's married, not yet, by 35.
That's right.
Kids, meh. So what does that mean? You've got a workforce that has no one to go home to, that has no one to care for, and the people they're spending their day with are the closest thing they have to a family. So the businesses that will say, all right, how do we turn this place into a family? How do we turn it into a place people want to be? Man, you're not going to have trouble with those millennials. You're actually going to draw them in, they're going to stay, and they're going to work harder than you've ever seen.
That's a great point. I'm going to throw another stat at you, let you teach us on this as well, because it just lines up beautifully with what you're saying. CBS News came out with a study last year in 2017 in the spring, and it said the top two qualities or factors for a millennial in a corporate or just professional career is, number one, this is great, you're gonna love this, the number one thing they value more than anything else is, are they good at the job? So they are a strengths-based generation. They're thinking, I got to be good at this. And then the second thing, and they're right close to each other, so they're really the same. And that is, does the work really matter to me?
Absolutely.
So this speaks to culture.
It speaks to purpose too.
Yeah, well, for them individually, yes, but they're going to be attached to an organization that is actually have a very clear, this is where we're going, it's missional.
Yeah. This is why we're doing what we're doing. Simon Sinek's talk, the why before the what. It's just one of the best there is, and it explains millennials like crazy. If you can build your culture around that mission and start to bake it into everything you do, you won't need stickers on the wall. You won't need plaques.
Yeah, that's well said. That's exactly, that's what I wanted you to tell our audience. Okay, we're going to jump to chapter 5. Stop culture leaks. So what is a culture leak, and then how do we stop it?
Yeah, one of my mentors said, and I doubt he was the first to say it, when you talk about strategic vision, he'd say vision leaks. You have to keep repeating the vision over and over. I think culture leaks. One phenomenon that happens, and you guys have been named Best Place to Work many years in a row now, right?
Yeah, about 10 years.
Yeah, about 10 years. And if it's like Houston, we've received the same type of award. They break it into small business, medium-sized business, large business. Okay, so if you're a healthy company and you're growing, your culture is going to leak. If you're unhealthy company with bad culture, you got a whole different set. But even if you're succeeding, it's going to leak. Well, why do you say that? Well, if you look at those different sectors in the best places to work, like small, medium, large, they all take the same test. They all come out with a raw score. It's the same control for everybody. The highest scores are always in, not the big companies, but the small companies. Because it's 5 people sitting around a table in one room and everybody knows what everybody's doing. But as you get bigger and silos begin to happen, which are not a bad thing, culture begins to leak. It becomes more important the bigger you get to start to build into the entire life cycle of your employee cultural indoctrination. We do it from when we're interviewing and recruiting all the way to a termination conversation.
Now, give me an example of maybe one thing that you're doing, walking them all the way from starting to when they've got to leave.
Yeah. So let's say, we get finished with this and we'll have an offline conversation about how you're unhappy with, Entree and the producers are driving you crazy.
Right.
So I want to interview. So we fly you down to Houston and we interview you. And we're like, Ken made an impression. And we don't just let you interview with me. You interview probably with an intern. You interview all the way around. So different parts of the family, right, are seeing you. And it'd be more than one interview. I think y'all are familiar with doing more than one interview.
Man, no question.
I told Dave one time, I think I could probably place somebody in the CIA quicker than
no
here.
Question.
Yeah.
No, you could actually vet a nominee, like a presidential nominee, that has to be approved by Congress faster than you could get hired here. Let's just go to the nth degree.
It's working.
Hard to argue it.
Dave said in the interview I did with him in the book, I said, so he told me he was up to like an average of 14, 15 interviews before a job. And I said, yeah. And he said, yeah, because you know what? Even a donkey can pretend to be a thoroughbred for 3 interviews.
That's a fact. That's an absolute fact.
Yeah. So we interview a couple times. We get excited about you. We're like, oh, man. So one of our values is called ridiculous responsiveness.
Okay.
Like we just really believe speed wins. We don't think anybody gets back to anybody. We think that if you return a call, return an email personally, not automated stuff, that you will have a competitive advantage over everybody else. It's a ridiculous response. So in our sales and marketing team particularly, if an inbound lead comes to us, we expect that to be personally answered within 60 seconds.
Wow.
Okay. So you've come down, you've done your couple interviews, we like you. Probably 10:30, 11 at night, you're going to get a text from somebody, maybe not even anybody you talk to at the company, but somebody else.
Sure.
And they're probably going to text you and say, Ken, man, heard you at the office today. It was so good. Just wondering, we're sitting around talking, do you have any idea what the odds are that the Houston Texans are going to win the Super Bowl next year?
Right.
And if you don't text back and you're in bed, it's whatever time, 11 o'clock, you're not going to lose the job. But if you text back within a minute, it's like,
interesting.
That's the same kind of crazy we are.
Yeah.
Now, if you text back within a minute and you say, I didn't know offhand, but I checked the Vegas odds, and right now it's 50 bajillion to 1.
Yeah.
Right?
That's even better.
Yeah, that's even better. And if you say, and 50 bajillion to 1 is a lot, but we all know the Texans are never going to win the Super Bowl, not just next year. Well, now, so we have 2 other values you've just hit. You've solution side living. We get asked to solve problems other people can't solve.
That's right.
And we also place a value on contagious fun. Right. So you're snarky with us. Yeah. You've shown a solution. You've responded within 60 seconds. And one text. Now, I can't ever use this example again.
Right.
But
no, that's really good.
Interviewing on the front end to see, are you our kind of crazy? And doing it when you're not in an interview context.
Yeah.